Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ebony Championship Wrestling Show, where we hit the mat running with all things WWE. We deep dive into the biggest moments, the hottest rivalries, and we give the boldest predictions in pro wrestling. The OG bloodline reigns supreme, but what does that really mean? The New Day leaves Big E standing outside the studio like David Ruffin yelling, "You ain't nothing without me." And have we reached mommy overload? The boys are here, wrestling is cool, and this is the ECW show. Let's get it. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, wrestling fans across the globe. This is the Ebony Championship Wrestling Show. Let's welcome to your screen our resident tribal chief, Griff, aka Griff Nation. You can find Griff on Instagram at GriffNation84 and on X at CGriff84. Rounding out the chat room is a man of 100 holds, Montay, aka Coach Montay. You can follow him on Instagram at Coach Montay24. I am your host, the Jackie Miles, and it's good to be back with the boys. Our wise man is out tonight, but we'll see him back next time. Boys, how we feeling tonight? Griff, how's everything going, my boy?
Hey, all is well, man. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. Hope you guys are well rested. Enjoy your Thanksgiving week like I did. I took advantage of resting and recharging my mental and my physical body more than just eating turkey dinner table. But other than that, man, great week for football. Lions win. Michigan upsets. Well, I ain't gonna say upset. We punished them suck eyes down there in Columbus. And then on to War Games. Happy birthday to my aunt Fruitcake, a.k.a. Maddie Swilly. We celebrated her this week as well. Family all over came in town with a great time. But other than that, we're here in a new week, y'all. I'm very, very excited to talk about what's been happening these last few days in the world of WWE, especially from War Games, man. So good to see y'all, man. Griff is doing good. Glad y'all looking good. And ready to chop it all with y'all tonight.
Coach, how you feeling today, my boy?
Good to see y'all, boys. Jackie, Griff. It's good to be in your presence, and thanks for hosting the Thanksgiving Day gathering. Down here it's good to be with you on that day, bro, and celebrate family, get a chance to spend with niece and sister-in-law, and find everybody well and healthy. So, but yeah, it was a great week. Great Survivor Series, man. Like we said last week's show. It's the most, it's a wonderful time of the year. When we get a chance to watch that PLE, man, and get us ready to going into obviously Mania, Rumble season in the Mania. But yeah, great weekend overall. Obviously, Griff, you said it. Anytime all my sports teams win, it's a great weekend. So I had to put on the amazing blue hat tonight to give a shout out to my boys who did their thing. And we weren't supposed to win, so we shocked the world, and the best is yet to come. But
the greatest.
Yeah.
The greatest 7-5 season of all time, bro. Greatest 7-5 season of all time.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, how are you doing, Jackie? Good to see you, brother.
Yeah,
I'm good, bro. It's good to see you guys as well, man. It's been a good couple weeks. I was off all last week, so got some chance to really rest and relax and get ready to attack this last couple weeks before Christmas break. So excited to be back on here with you guys, man. It was a good time on Saturday watching Survivor Series as well. Obviously, the game happened, but Survivor Series is why we're all here tonight. So let's go ahead and jump right on in, and we can celebrate the game another time for sure, because we definitely are doing that. But let's jump right into our Survivor Series reactions, man. What was your immediate reaction to Survivor Series, and what did you think of the show entirely? Griff, let's start with you.
Man, I really enjoyed it. I was very excited. I was kind of like the kid in the candy store, I was just like, and I think I can speak for everybody here too as well. And you guys will give y'all thoughts here shortly, y'all reactions. But, I was thinking like, hey, man, let's pull this popcorn out. Let's see what happened. I was expecting a couple of different surprises or something to catch off guard, didn't know what it was. And it didn't happen, and at the end of the day, I'm okay with that. But I really had fun. I really enjoyed it, and my reaction was just basically like, man, this was a real good show. But I do want to correct Michael Cole though. I do need to correct Michael Cole real quickly here because he said something in the show where he said the first ever pay-per-view that happened in Vancouver was in December 98 at Rock Bottom. Technically, that was the second. The first one was July 96 in Your House International Incident with the six-man tag main event of Shawn Michaels, Psycho Sid, Ahmed Johnson versus Owen Yokozuna and Bulldog with Jim Cornette is the main event. I remember that pay-per-view. So Michael Cole, you got it wrong and you owe me. So fact check that.
WWE Encyclopedia strikes again. So.
This man's fact
I
checking.
couldn't wait to get that one out.
He was sitting on that all weekend.
Oh, he was waiting on that one.
He was sitting on that all weekend.
I did.
Make sure you tweet Cole.
Coach, what was your reaction?
Oh man, honestly, it was watching it. It was kind of meh to me, in the sense of wanting more. Obviously maybe expecting swerves, but the formula to the War Games matches are kind of it tips their hand. You know which way it's gonna go now. I want a little bit more in those matches. A little bit more spots. So for me, it was kind of mad this year, especially with the middle matches. I mean, now I am proud of Shinsuke Nakamura. So that was my highlight of the night. And then the triple threat. So it was Braun Breaker coming out. So those were my two. Okay, this was good. But the War Games were, they tipped their hand. Even though I was wrong on both of them, I saw how the way. I was like, okay, I know where this is going, and it didn't work in my favor with the Heels winning because I picked the Heels to win, and I got both of them wrong. But no, it was okay this year. I did want more. I did want more, Jackie. What you think, man?
Yeah, I think my next question to you guys was kind of along the lines of that, Coach, and just thinking, like, do we still like the War Game style? Obviously, the 5-on-5 Survivor Series style was getting old itself.
Yeah.
And so then they switched to the War Games. Are we still a fan of the War Games process, or do we think that it's becoming too predictable in its matches, Coach?
It's becoming too predictable. I honestly would like to go back to the elimination lone survival style, maybe with some tricks here or there to make it interesting, something to kind of make it interesting. But go back to the tradition. If you're going to do War Games, make sure it's brutal. Make sure, hey, check on that guy. Is he hurt? Like, I want to see some blood. I want to see an actual war. So that's my deal. Let's come on, let's go back to basics here. Let's keep it simple, but give us more. So yeah, what you think, Griff?
No, I'm on the same lines with you, Coach. Same thing. I would love to see the elimination tradition come back to play. I think that gives more time for the talent, more talent time to be on the spots. But the only thing about the War Games for me is if it's like a intriguing storyline where you have two sides really like coming to an end of a chapter or really need to duke it out. Then keep the two rings, still have your elimination matches, like had the women on one ring, the men on the other ring, and then just had the one War Games match too, wherever the finished storyline it is. But if there's not there, then take the War Games out and just go back to the tradition elimination style. So I'm kind of like split with both. I'd like to see the elimination return, but only do the War Games if it's like a real intense personal storyline involved that you got to use the War Games to end that chapter.
Yeah, I think when we're talking about going to war, I think to your point, Coach, we're looking to see a little bit more violence, I guess. It's a terrible word for it, but I guess that's what we are looking for. But I guess we are looking for more. I don't know. I'm a fan of the War Games concept, but I do think the women's match put a sour taste in my mouth at the beginning of the show. And that kind of slowed me down with the thought of like how War Games should go. The men's match told a great story, yes, but you're right. It was a little bit more predictable this year more than any years past.
Yep.
I still like the way that it went. I like that that the way that it ended with Solo taking everybody's bump.
Yeah.
I appreciated that, but you're right, it did get a little too predictable for me.
For sure.
Okay, just making sure. Yeah, didn't have anything else for it.
Yeah, no, you
So
good.
let's dive deeper into it then. Let's talk about the women's side. As I was scrolling through the internet over the weekend and the last couple of days, the women's match got a lot of ridicule about the way that the match went, and I would love to get your thoughts on if you thought that the match was good, if you noticed anything went terribly wrong, or how the internet is. Once one thing goes bad, it's all bad.
It's all
But
bad.
I would love to get
Yeah.
your thoughts on how you thought the women's match went. Griff, let's start with you.
Actually, I watched that match twice in itself. Because I liked the spots, of course EO and Tiffany did when they both jumped off the cage. I liked the spots that it seemed like Bianca was getting her tail whooped a lot in this match. I was watching the spots where even Nia, her first time being in the War Games match and some of the things that she was doing. I didn't see anything, and I didn't really pay too much attention to everything what the internet was saying. Like you said, one person get pissed off by the match, it just transfers like cockroaches. Everybody's mad and don't even know why they're mad. But I liked that match. It wasn't like too bad, but it wasn't like all that great. But I didn't have no problems, with it from my spectator point and everything. I know there was a couple like, low key botches that was in there, but I think they all held their own, inside, man, and took care of what they had to do. I just it just went like it's supposed to. Nowhere for Liv to run no more.
Okay, Coach.
Sometimes you play it too safe when you're trying to hide each woman's flaw, what their weakness. Obviously they're all in that match for a reason. They're going to bring various skill sets and strengths, but sometimes they try too hard to hide the flaw, and which can cause for a slower match. Each one of them had their individual spots, but no, just and like I said at the beginning, just give us a little more, make us, and I think you only had maybe 2 or 3 women in there that really had legit beef, right? What was it, Rhea, Liv? Maybe that was the only thing. Yeah, the only one.
No, you had some storylines in there. You
Yeah,
had Rhea and
yeah,
Liv. You had Naomi and Naomi and Bailey versus Tiffany and Nia
and
Jax was a part of that.
Which,
yeah, I don't know. It was kind of just thrown together.
Yeah, it was
in
thrown
that sense,
together,
but
but no, the thing that annoyed me, before I pass it to you, Jackie, can we make sure we find the props? Like, do we have to get under? Like, everybody goes to the ring and like looks for, like Raquel. Like Raquel was trying to find something for like 10 minutes, and I just like, come on, now.
Never
Like,
found it either. She never
found
found
it.
it. She just went into the ring,
and so it just threw it off. I'm like, come on, like this. Either this should already be out. Y'all should know where it is. Come on, come on. We need to look behind the Gatorades and find your funky ass table. You know what I'm saying? So come on, it shouldn't be that easy. Shouldn't be that hard.
In
So
her defense, it happened in the men's match too. In her defense, the men's match was struggling to find stuff too. Yeah. In her defense.
But no, everything was. It just annoyed me. It just annoyed me. But no, spots weren't as on point. You can tell they tipped their cap a little bit. And as soon as EO, the only reason EO's in the match is what you said last week, Griff. On her Oscar the Grouch shit again. And so, jumping out of trash cans. So all that was, come on, all that was predictable. So yeah.
I would like to get your thoughts on the psychology of like taking a pin or taking someone's bump, especially in this particular match. We've seen Rhea Ripley a lot over the summer and going into this match, and we'll get to her piece next. But Liv Morgan probably needs a little bit more if we're going to believe that Liv Morgan is our champion. And she's got the heat with Raquel. She had the heat with Dominic. And so she was set up properly, but now it seems like she is still running scared. And I know that that Mommy is the top face, it seems now. But because of Liv holding the championship, like, did she need to take the pin? right? Did Nia and did the world champion and the WWE champion and the Money in the Bank holder all need to take an L in this match? Like, did we set this up properly so that they are successful coming up out of this? Because it doesn't seem like it. Even like Monday night on Raw, Liv is still running away from Rhea. And it's like, why is she the champion then? And we said this from the very beginning, Griff, that like if she's gonna be the champion, we need her to actually win some matches.
Yep.
And I feel like she could have been set up to do so, even with Raquel coming in later. I'm sorry, that's a rant to say.
It's okay.
As a rant to say, did any of the storylines progress coming out of this the way that you feel that they should have? And I know, Coach, you probably have some opinions on this. So, did the storylines progress the way they should have coming out of this, coming out of War Games?
I'm gonna say no. It's to be honest with you, I'm gonna shrug my shoulders and say I don't know. Nothing didn't progress. And the reason being is Liv in that case should have, yes, of course, she has to be believable. She's always been chicken shit, but in this case, she should not have taken that pin if she wants to keep the momentum going into the title match. Rhea's been taking the L's, and I had that. That's the only reason why I went with the heels again, because I'm like, Liv needs to keep the advantage. Somebody in that case got to help her win. And then I knew as soon as Raquel got handcuffed, I'm like, oh, she's in trouble. And sure as shit, she goes to the table. But no, to answer your question, Jackie, Liv in this case was hurt tremendously by this. And then you also have, Queen Nia. Now, is she really looking strong? Come on, all of them went down, and I don't even see where else she should go unless her and Tiffany Stratton just end up getting mad at each other and and they end up she ends up cashing in at some point. But no, none of the stories progressed, and that's why it was kind of made of me, because it's like faces prevail, but what's next? What you think, Griff?
I think there's one story that's hopeful to prevail out of this. That'll be Nia and Tiffany, and that all would be based on Nia go back and watch the tape, and she seen when her and Liv was down, and Tiffany brought that briefcase out that trash can, and she consumed that like, oh, you was about to cash that boy on me, huh? That's the only possible I could see swerve out of that.
Right.
But another thing too, and I got this on the list. WWE has a way of making us forget about stuff and moving on. So we still got to keep in mind who in the world, like we all got an idea who, but we got to keep in mind, let's not forget Jade was attacked. And I think they're using all this to get us distracted, to forget about Jade being attacked and letting Bianca go on her happy way. Because there were times where in that match too, you got Bayley in the middle, and you got her and Bianca. And Bianca's like, oh, okay, I think I can trust you. Then you got Io and Bayley looking at each other. But in my opinion, I really thought, and I really was hoping Io would have took the pin over Liv, all because they do have a number one contender match coming up, and that should be their story. Now it's kind of confusing because, like, if Io is the number one contender, but Rhea's still chasing Liv, and then in the press conference, no disrespect to Io because she's the number one contender, it's kind of like, are you teasing that there's something that you're going to do to get involved to get you and Io going back at each other? Or if we're going to focus on Io, the number one contender, it should be just Io and Liv. And I think Io should have took that pin over Rhea on Liv and focus on their momentum to their match.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you didn't even get any true interaction between Io and Liv, right? To progress that at all. It just seems like we're just waiting on Mommy to take the title back at this point. Because she's been the only storyline for Liv since SummerSlam, or like pre-SummerSlam. So she's been the only thing, and so it very much seems like we're just waiting for her to take the title back, and that feels awful. Because we like why? What are we doing? And then there's nobody else set up to like actually attack Rhea, because now you've made Rhea seem like she's like Superwoman. There's nobody who can beat her unless you're bringing back Charlotte. And it's like, even then, it's like, I don't want Rhea as much as I want Charlotte, and as much as
Yeah.
at times Charlotte was oversaturated. Like I now I feel the same way about Rhea, and I would much rather have Charlotte. At least I know I'm gonna get a great performance in the ring every night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's even worse now. It's even worse, Jackie, because as you know, as we all we didn't want this last week. We all said it. This might go to WrestleMania, and that's gonna be
A year of a storyline, like, and not like deviating
No,
from anything.
no,
Like, not I'm gonna
no,
go over here and mess with her for a
no,
month and then come back and just
yeah.
and then now we got
They're
this
gonna
no,
interaction. Like a
they're gonna try to
year
stretch this out.
straight.
They're gonna try to stretch this
no,
out.
no,
Raquel is going to I think
no,
she fights Raquel Monday. I don't
no,
know. Maybe they're gonna get a little something that might carry over in the
no,
main event just to kill the time. But no, the booking is all jacked up. Nothing progressed out of that, Jackie. Yep. At the end of the day.
no.
Yep.
Mm-mm.
We'll come back to the War Games piece of this, all all of this towards the end of the night. Let's move on to the United States title as Shinsuke Nakamura, a new Shinsuke Nakamura, Samurai Shinsuke Nakamura, makes his makes his return and shocks the world by beating LA Knight for the U.S. title. I'd love to get your reactions here, Coach. Let's start with you.
I like it. It's they gave him a chance to get away and build that new gimmick, that darker gimmick, and I'm here for it. And they paid him off. I'm happy. I just hope they keep it on him. I mean, obviously the talk is not there, but hopefully he can represent well. My question is, it shocked me. I'm not gonna lie, it shocked me, but it was a great surprise, and I just immediately said, okay, what did they really? My question was, what did and I'll ask to you guys, what do you guys what do you think they really think of LA Knight? Because like he's had the run. Is this a flash in the pan, or or like, hey, Shinsuke's ready? I'm taking it as, hey, maybe there's a flash in the pan, or maybe it was some backstage heat, or they feel that they needed a change. But I mean, I was shocked, but I'm at the end of the day, I'm here for it. I mean, because I like his new character. But I also the flip side, I'm wondering, like, okay, well, what did they really think about LA Knight in this case?
A lot of times it's probably nothing, none of the above, backstage heat or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I look at the longevity. I look at the payoff. That's been one of our key terms this year. And Nakamura, and when I look back at Nakamura's career, it's kind of like, what are we doing? We made him as the Royal Rumble winner in 2018. He has that under his belt. He has other single championships under his belt. And I don't know if you guys know this, but here's another factual, interesting stat. This is Nakamura's first PLE pay-per-view win in 4 years in the singles competition. So he hasn't won a PLE since 2020. So I should have trusted my gut, because when we did the predictions last week, I literally said, like, I'm really going for Nakamura on this one, but because he came too early and they haven't built this story up, I don't think he's going over. And, cards subject to change and things happen, quickly. And this dark side, this gimmick, this deep meditation, the story, we seen this a few months ago with he was feuding with who was it, Seth, I think, at the time when he started doing all these anime promos and things like that. I think we're going to get a lot of different directions in that set coming forward too, as well too, man, making into this darker character we never saw. So yes, it was a surprise, but it wasn't a surprise. It was a surprise because I didn't think he was going to get it that quickly, but it wasn't a surprise because of who Nakamura really is. And I knew sooner or later, if he didn't get it Sunday, he was eventually going to get it off of LA Knight, because can't have too many times and putting him on the spot and keep burying him, don't give him nothing.
Yeah.
I looked at it differently, gentlemen. I thought it was a great decision. I thought, and I didn't think that it hurt LA Knight in any way. I think it now gives LA Knight a legitimate run because he's going to be chasing after something. And so some of the things that he's been saying as the champion, I'm like, I I don't believe you, right? Like, but now that he
Yeah.
has that chase mentality as the number one contender, I guess
Yeah,
you can say, because they're going to obviously feud after this. If they don't, then we're wasting LA Knight. But if we're actually going to get a feud out of this, then it's the right decision, because Shinsuke is going to do some sinister things that are going to, get under LA Knight's skin, and it's going to make you want to root for LA Knight. Not me,
True.
but the average fan is going to want
yeah,
to root for
average
LA
fan.
Knight after that. And so now,
Yeah.
like, that storyline actually has some merit to it, because you took the title from me. I got to get that title back. Now there's a legitimate chase to it. It's not this thing where it's just like, I'm the next guy up, so I'm just going to say I
Yeah.
want that title. But there's some legitimacy to him now chasing the title.
It seems like a
True.
formula. It's been I know, because Jackie, you mentioned last week, and you were spot on, like how boring the face runs can be.
Mhm.
And and so it seems like the answer to that, WWE's formula is to keep them, as the chase. So
Because you don't believe
mhm,
them, right? Once they get the
right,
title, once, like, the journey is the thing, right? Cody's story was so big because you knew
yeah,
he was gonna win. You wanted him to win, and you wanted him to cross that finish line. And it was the journey that brought in the emotion, right? Kofi
right,
Kingston's run. It was the journey that brought all of that emotion. You understood why he was going to, why he was going to win, or why it was important for him to
hmm
win. With some of
right,
the things that are happening lately, with some of the face promos and things that we're getting, it's just like, I'm that guy, and who I'm gonna take on whoever. And it's like, ah, I don't believe you, right? The bloodline storyline was full of belief. You believed that their family was struggling. You believed that their family was going through these things. And so it's up to that face run, or that face champion, to tell
yeah,
you why they're good at what they're doing. And I just don't think the last couple face runs, Cody, Damian Priest, his run,
Seth was the
and
best to do
LA
it.
Knight
Seth was the
even
best to
now.
do it.
I'm sorry,
Seth
say
was the
again.
best to do it. No, Seth Rollins was the best to do it with his belt,
Yeah, but that's because Seth
to a
was in
degree.
that medium spot where he's able to say
Between it.
some heel things, but also
Yeah,
be a
yeah,
face at the same time.
that's
Braun
true.
Breaker's kind of getting ready to go into that slot, like, kind of like you said last
Between
week,
it.
Coach. But
Yeah. Mhm.
it's about believability. I don't believe you
Yeah.
sometimes. I don't believe faces sometimes when they say some of the things they're saying, and maybe that just
Mm.
means that they got to get better on the mic. Maybe not, but I just need to believe you a little bit more. I don't know.
Nah, that's real.
I don't know. But also, as a heel, you're allowed to say other things that you probably wouldn't be able to say as a face. So those are the things that get us to pop. So again, I don't know. But I think now it's a legitimate storyline. Shinsuke is going to be a good
Yeah,
champion. He's been a champion everywhere. We haven't seen him in a long time. The character is now cool. The
it's
music is
different. Yeah.
but at least the character we're getting is going to be a little different. And so now we're going to pay attention to that. We're going to pay attention to LA Knight, just because now
Yeah.
we have an intriguing heel to go along with it.
Yeah.
Also making some noise now is Drew McIntyre makes a huge return as he claymores Sami Zayn. And let's just hit on this real quickly, because
Yeah.
I loved it, and I would love to
Yeah.
hear what you guys think. Griff, do you have any thoughts towards Drew McIntyre coming back?
Man, I hate this feeling that he was going to return soon, but not know when, where, and who his first attack was going to be. I knew it wasn't going to be with CM Punk, but for him to come out of nowhere, it hit nail Sammy. I'm like, yep, we got another direction that we're going, and anytime a return like that happened towards the end of the show, end of Raw, the first thing is you're looking forward to next week, or you're looking forward to see what post interview or what this person gonna tweet or say why he did what he did. And Drew just basically just like made it short and plain. He was like, y'all forgot about me. Like, I went away, and anytime I come back, I'm gonna be more dangerous than ever. So that was the thing that caught my attention. Like, he's back, and he's gonna be more dangerous than ever. He still feels some type of way losing that Hell in the Cell, but we know that he ain't going back at the Punk. But he still got that bitterness in his mouth, and he's taking out on whoever he chooses. And Sami Zayn was public enemy number one.
Coach, you feel the same way?
Hell yeah. Anytime I see Drew on the screen, I pop. It's good. It was good to see my guy back. fresh from getting his ass whooped in the hell. No, I was playing, but no, it was good. I'm glad he got the time off. Now he's ready to feud with Sammy, and yeah, hey, going darker, and hopefully we can get the world title on him sooner than later. But yeah, I'm probably, my guess is Saturday night main event between these two, and you know, it's good to have him back.
Why do you think he did it? Why Sami Zayn, Griff?
That's a good question.
You know, I think a lot of it is probably, you know, still feel some type of way about the bloodline. Like, I think there's a lot of people that start, you know how like when people hold grudges and after a while they start to reveal itself. And I think we're coming to a point where a lot of people is feeling some type of way about the bloodline and these people going teaming up with the bloodline. And I think that's one of his reasons why, like, you know, this person screwed me out the title, then this person screwed me out of this title, and then you're gonna go back and join forces with them. So I think he feels some type of way of Sammy joining forces with the bloodline and going back to Team Roman.
Coach, you feel the same way?
Yeah, I immediately thought about, hey, how dare you team with Punk? Jay, I'm gonna hit you with these pipes. I'm gonna hit you with these pipes here at the backstage. And then, but how dare are you guys, you know, team with Roman? And then, hey, I know everybody just blaming Roman as a nucleus, the center point of everybody's beef. So that's what I got from it.
Think about how much power that storyline held for everybody to still be pissed off about the things that were happening in the past. I didn't think about the Jey Uso attack. I didn't think about Drew being the benefactor of that. That's a great point. But I definitely think it's post bloodline stuff. It's definitely you teaming up with the wrong people, and now you got to pay. And I don't know. This is kind of what's driving Kevin Owens' story, right? Like, everything that's happened to me in the past is the bloodline's fault, and anybody that teams up with the bloodline, I got issues with that. So that's Kevin Owens on SmackDown preaching that, and Drew McIntyre over on Raw co-signing it. So good to see him back, though. Good to see him back. And then obviously Seth and CM Punk are exchanging blows, and both of them hit the Y button at the same time and ducked each other, and neither one of them was throwing a punch. But Coach, you kind of called for this to happen during War Games, but it happened on Raw. Are you excited about the Seth and CM Punk storyline, where we're headed?
I'm very excited, Jackie. That was the best promo that they've done to this day. I mean, obviously with more to come because we already know where this is headed. But for Seth to have that 100 moment, saying, "Hey, I should have kicked your ass when I had the chance," and finally dig in was much needed. It was brilliant. I felt that segment was everything. But the thing that made me pop and made me crack up was, hey little man. Punk was like, "Hey little bro, I ain't even been seeing you because you ain't even got what I want. So why would I be focused on you?" So that's bars right there. And that's what a great way to set the feud off, man, by them exchanging. And like you said, they doing rapid punches. We know they can't fight for real until it's time. But Punk, we know whatever favor he's gonna get from the wise man, it will probably something that will be involved in him getting into that Mania spot. But no, it's a good way to set them off. And something that I called maybe a couple weeks ago about Seth, who will be, I think we talked about it, who will be the heel, who will be the face. I think you're gonna see you see Seth Rollins going slightly back on the heel side. We know he's a great screener, but he I think Punk will be the face, Seth will be more the heel, but the fans will still enjoy the match, which makes it awesome. Yeah.
For me, I'm gonna give you the fan perspective, my fan perspective as a fan. Watching it as a fan, I was really pissed off and I was mad at Seth Rollins. Like, bro, stop complaining, stop crying. Like, it is what it is. Like, get over Roman, okay? This is nothing against personal against Seth. I'm giving you the fan perspective of me watching it as I'm watching those two. I was, as a fan, Seth made me really upset and disappointed in him. Like, bruh, you had a great career. You had multiple championships. Like, get this chip off your shoulder. Like, everybody's forgiven and move on. Roman has moved on. CM Punk has moved on. The Wise Man has moved on. Jay and Jimmy them forgave and moved on. You're still holding on to something. I get it. I get the whole characterization, but as a fan, it was getting to the point where like, bro, let it go. Like, coach, you know how I am when dudes like hold grudges. Like, bro,
Yeah.
let it
Let it
go.
go.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I was getting as a fan watching with Seth. Now on CM Punk's side, I was like the fan cheering for him because he was like, yo, man, listen. I ain't been thinking about you. You ain't been in my rearview mirror. I had put the past behind, and you still stuck on this little stuff, man. Like, get out my face. And then it blows a change. So, for that, that was totally unexpected to kick off Raw, and I didn't expect them to like really like trade blows this early, to start their little story wherever they got going there. But you know, I enjoyed that segment from a fan perspective, and both of them did a great job to deliver the heel and the good guy. To me, Seth was the heel more than the good guy. And CM Punk to me was the good guy more than the heel because Seth had a lot of talking, where CM Punk really had not much talking.
All right, so two things. Number one, I don't think we need to worry about heel or facing when it comes to Seth, especially because he does such a great job of playing that gray area, right? And I think there's some things that I could say that makes CM Punk the heel, right? But I think this isn't about heel or face. This is about just disgust. I don't like you. You don't like me. Let's fight about it, right? We're back to that, which I appreciate. We ain't got to. It's steeped in already storyline. You don't have to tell me why these two don't like each other. We can tell they don't like each other, and from there, let's just fight it out. I don't need one to give me a face. I don't need one to give me a heel run. None of that. Let's just fight, right? But then, Griff, I got to call you out on this because literally just the last conversation, we were talking about how Cody and KO, Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre, everything that they're doing right now is because of the results of Roman Reigns, right? And so for Seth Rollins, I can't tell Seth Rollins to get over it if I'm not also telling KO and especially KO. If I'm not telling KO and Drew McIntyre to get over it too, right? So all three of them have a right to say, like, I'm pissed because of the things that have happened to me in the past, and it's so deep in me, I can't believe that you would ever go over there and team up with that person, or that you would ever go over there and be cool with that person, knowing the things that he's done to me. And I think that that's great storyline, but also, Griff, I can't say one person got to get over it while the other two continue to talk about it. Go ahead.
No, and that's why I made it clear before I went with my point. I'm coming as Griff as the fan, not Griff as like normally watching. I was talking about like if I'm just like the typical fan and we put everything in the gray area, just talk about one person versus person. That's where I was coming from, like as the fan perspective. Now, when we throw the fan perspective away, and I know what's really going on and happening, like you said, no, that's valid. But I was just saying, okay, let me put Griff to the side. Let's talk about me like that kid again that don't know like what we know, and just go from that fan eye. Like, okay, this really made me feel like a fan, like back in the day, like before I knew all the booking and storylines and things like that. I felt like a kid and a fan again, where like when I seen Bret Hart and Owen Hart, okay, yeah, Bret Hart was the hero and Owen Hart was the bad guy. This how that moment made me feel, although I know everything that was going on and why, and that, again, you have a great point, that exactly. But from that fan point, I just feel like a kid again, just like, oh shoot, like, dang, this is really good.
Okay, I get you. I understand what you're saying. I get you. I just can't let you just say one person got to get over it while the other two can still talk their shit. Before we get to the men's war game match, let's talk about your boys, Coach. Are we still calling them the New Day? What's happening here? What are we doing, Coach? Over to you.
Man, it was a great swerve. I'm winning either way because as long as a New Day is no more, I'm smiling. So it was a great night for me. The way they incorporated Big E, and I honestly thought that okay, one of these guys, E's going to be there as a mediator. And then as they started talking about, oh, you weren't here, I was like, oh my God, this is brilliant. They're both going to turn. And I said, okay, now, as much as I wanted you guys to beat each other's face in for the last few months, like I'm actually I'm actually cool with this. Because as long as y'all not throwing pancakes and coming out with the trombone and clapping, I'm good because y'all need everybody needs a fresh start. Y'all need to go into a heel gimmick that's gonna be, if y'all gonna be together, be nasty, put yourselves back in contention for the titles, and be heels, be assholes, be the true WWE talent that y'all, since y'all been doing this, go ahead and do that. And I'm for them doing it. Obviously, until E gets cleared, and also the bright side, for everybody who I'm sure who got on social media and was sad for Big E, the guy will be cleared, and they're going to make this a hell of a story. He will be cleared and eventually get his get back, so that everybody will win. But it was a interesting turn, but I'm here for it, man. Hey, long as I got to see the sunshine and rainbows no more, and they can change the music, the mission accomplished.
Coach, I have to correct you because that new day might be over, but it is a new day. If it's a new day and a new day, if you know what I mean. It's a new day going forward. But the swerve of all this, but it goes back to what Jackie says about being the baby face, and we don't believe half the time what the baby face is saying. Woods and Coffee, everything they said, no matter how blunt and savage it really was the truth. Like, yo, Big E, you wasn't there. And every time Big E came up was like, man, I had this like that. Woods come through like, man, I had my Achilles torn off the bone and I still did this for you, bro. Like, it just like, all right, Big E, no matter how sympathetic you get, there's no coming back home.
I feel bad for him, though.
It was coming back, but it was great storytelling with E because E came in from the entrance all the way to the end, nothing but emotions. Like, he sold and gave nothing but emotion. And to see Coffee and Woods start the momentum last week when they went face to face with each other and carried on this week and joined forces and put it on E, I was like I didn't have no words at the moment. I was just so into it. Like, don't go to commercial break. Let's get more. Like, throw it out there. But man, that was a fantastic segment in itself. I'm very intrigued, optimistic to see where this new day with Coffee and Woods go as the heel turn has happened. Now are we gonna get the New Day theme, or are we gonna get a New Day new theme? You know what I'm saying? I'm with it, coaches. Def Rebel been kind of up and down with theme music. That contract coming up to the end, so I don't know. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see the next time these two walk out, what's going to happen and who is their first target going to be. But yeah, Big ET's basically when he said like, I'll get clear soon. So that, to me, that was a tease that they're looking at bringing him back.
I think he already cleared. I feel like he already cleared, and he just, they just need to insert him back into the storyline. When his music hits in the Royal Rumble, then we're gonna be good from here. So prayerfully that's the case, and that's where we're headed. Sorry, Griff, I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize.
Oh, you good. I was wrapping up anyway. Nope, you're good.
No, I just I'm with you guys. I what's next? What is this, a new day? Is this an old day? Are we changing things up? Are we switching the music? Are we going completely heel? Are we attacking some people? Because if we're attacking some people, I'm all down for it. And this is what we needed the Street Profits to do. You can't just come out here and just not do this and expect people to be like, oh, you're heel now. No, I need a reason to hate you. I need a reason to dislike you. And for y'all to turn on probably one of the most lovable characters of all time in Big E, then yeah, that gives me a reason to dislike both of you. Now, sorry, I don't dislike either of you. I'm actually on board with this now, and I'm actually rooting for this turn. I just need y'all to be as vicious as possible with this, and hopefully they write this out. I think the segment itself went off like gangbusters for sure. I just need the follow up to be the right way. Go ahead, coach.
You knew you knew it was money when you had the guy in the crowd with the anaconda with that pose, and that's what it's about. When you can get the crowd like that, because everybody and their mama anticipated Woods and Kofi to beat the hell out of each other, and it went the other way. And then now you generate heat because you're gonna put all of that venom on E. You know what I'm saying? But the line of the night was, "Hey, you broke your neck. I don't give a damn. Who cares?
Care.
So what?" That was the vicious line. That was the vicious line of the night.
Care.
That was
Kurt Angle came back. What's your excuse? Like you just start naming cats.
Tommaso Ciampa tweeted, "I broke my neck." Yeah. Just saying.
Oh, man. That's vicious.
When they said Edge, I was waiting for Edge now because they went Stone Cold Kurt. I said, go ahead and say Edge.
No, it was vicious, though. But, yeah.
Necessary, start, I think. Hopefully. Necessary for the whole storyline. Necessary. Necessary for the movement of newer talent, things like that, right? We need some newer faces. We need some newer heels. We got to switch some things up so that it feels refreshing, especially going into this new Triple H era with Netflix and all of those things. So hopefully they do it right. Speaking of doing it right, the men's War Games match, I know we talked about it being a little bit predictable, but we got to talk about, first of all, Jacob Fatu is by far like my favorite wrestler 100% now, because the way this man took that bulldog off of the toolbox, hopped up, and went to shaking it. We was watching, I swear we were watching it like 3-4 times because I had to see it a few more times. But War Games match happened. OG Bloodline goes over on the new Bloodline. Solo takes every bump possible.
Hey.
What are our thoughts on where we're headed from here as far as the Bloodline saga goes? Where do you think we're headed? Because Solo stated at the end, I'm still the tribal chief. And in factuality, he is, because he still has the Ulafala. There's been nothing to change that. We just beat y'all one time in War Games. Where are we headed from here, gentlemen? What's next? Coach, go ahead and get us started.
It's easy. You got, obviously, it's a lot more to bring out of this match than the women's, obviously. So you definitely got Solo and Roman coming, for that Ulafala. That needs to be done. Jimmy obviously is a question mark. Jay's gonna go back and play Sammy, obviously, but at the end of the day, you got business with Solo, Roman, and then obviously Jacob as the enforcer. Who knows? But that's really the top one. But then also the two things that I got was the tease of you might get CM Punk and Roman. Like those are two matches that they could possibly ink in. Depending on, and then obviously factoring in what side is really truly the wise man on. Because he hugged and embraced Punk, and then and then him and Roman. I'm just looking at the psychology. Then they just look at each other and just with just a little nice little soft touch on the head. So all of the subtle things, but no, you got a couple matches out of there. You that are for sure that I see that are big money. But and I love the finish. So what's actually saved my opinion of the match was what we mentioned earlier. How the way Solo took every finisher in the book. Just as a FU, and hey, this is what you've been doing to us the last few months. But so it was a poetic ending. But those are the main things I'm looking out of the match. the three things I'm looking at. Yep.
So for me, going forward, I'm interested to see what Solo and his bloodline are how they're going to address this loss and going forward. And is it a possibility that Jacob and the twins might say, you lost twice. You're our tribal chief and may do a turn. I'm intrigued to see what they do going forward, not more so the OG. Saturday night really took my attention off this whole Ulafala. This whole Ulafala thing was pretty much the biggest storyline in the bloodline to me. Now I feel like this story between wherever this favorite is CM Punk needs from Heyman has pretty much went above capturing this Ulafala. Now it's like somewhere in there, this Ulafala thing is going to happen. Roman's probably going to reclaim it somewhere down the line. that's not even important no more. Now, again, like I said earlier in the show, WWE have ways of like doing things to get us distracted. Let's not forget the first fundamental. Why was the phone disconnected? Why you didn't pick up when Roman called you? And
Yeah,
now
I gotta revisit
CM
it.
Punk's in the place, and now he has a favor. When they all left the ring, you left with Punk, gave Punk in the talk, and then y'all barely hugged and looked at each other. You know what I'm saying? So there's something that's there that we still got to figure out. But I am more intrigued to see what did this Bloodline 2.0 go from this loss and how they're going to address it. And number two, what is this favor? And to me, that's the biggest point, story out of this situation.
I think the new bloodline is probably the most loyal faction we've seen in a long time. So I think they stay together. I don't see them turning on Solo.
Nope.
And I think the original bloodline, I think, is all back to their separate corners, right?
Separate.
Yeah,
Obviously, Sammy
back.
and Jay were back on Raw the other night with nothing from Jimmy or anything like that. No word or anything about the bloodline.
Yeah. Jimmy might have got hurt. He might have got hurt again.
Yeah, Jimmy broke his toe, from what I understand, on the Swanton.
The splash. He did the splash off the top of the cage.
Yeah.
Dang.
So I think they're back to their neutral corners, and I think the only story is still the Ulafale, in my opinion, because you still got Solo still claiming to be the tribal chief. So you still have that bloodline over there as strong as ever. They just happen to take the L here. And, I don't think they're going to turn on each other. I just think that they're going to find a way to bounce back, especially going into Mania season. We haven't seen like a vicious side of them. You remember when the old bloodline would just attack people on Raw just because they would just come over on the show and just start the show off with beating everybody up. We haven't seen that from this bloodline yet. And so if we get that side of the bloodline, then I'm excited for what's to come next. But we need something new for sure. For sure. All right, gentlemen, let's get on out of here, man. Let's go ahead and go to our final thoughts. We're headed into Saturday night's what is it? Main event, Saturday night main event.
Main event.
Yeah. Headed into that in a couple of weeks, as well as Royal Rumble's right around the corner at the beginning of February. So I'd love to get your final thoughts. Where do we think wrestling is headed, and what are you excited for coming up next? Let's start with you, Griff.
I'm excited to see this Cody and KO match. I mean, this was I was excited not to see Cody on this PLL, no disrespect, but you needed some time off and let somebody else run the show in the PLE and had a slot for Saturday main event. But I'm very interested to see not just how the match go, but where this story is going to go and what they're going to do with KO and his heel run and not just heel run, villain run that he's going to do. So I'm very excited for that match and what KO is pretty much going to bring or possibly do to Cody in that match come next Saturday.
Coach?
This is the appetizer to obviously the main course, obviously the Netflix starting in January and going into Rumble. So yeah, excited, those matches need to, definitely be hot, every one of them. From there, comparing it right now as a bulked up Raw. So they, so I'm looking forward to this match. Obviously, hopefully, EO can give Liv Morgan some hell, and and obviously, Cody and KO can obviously continue that feud. So I look forward to, to those matches. Carrying over to next year. I'm excited mainly for the how they're going to interject the final boss, which I believe he's coming obviously in LA, to that first Raw, to kick it off. So it only makes sense. So, and yeah, that's one more thing that could add more intrigue and spice into obviously the Bloodline storyline that just, obviously that just capped off on Saturday. Maybe they'll bring more clarity to that in January on that Netflix episode. So I'm just excited for just everything that's going to come down in general this time of the year, especially I definitely need to see Final Boss on the screen and get him into the storyline some way, somehow.
Yeah, we definitely got to get some restitution for the thing that he did at the last
all of
pay-per-view.
that.
What was that at? What was that at?
That was
Bad
that Bad
Blood.
Blood.
Bad Blood? Yeah, what was the point? Okay, hopefully that's coming soon. Hopefully we figure out what that is about. But
Yeah,
yes, you're right.
Netflix
He's still
first Raw.
lingering out there. So, last thought is I'm excited about. I know we haven't talked about this a lot, but the Intercontinental Championship and the United States Championship on the women's side, I'm excited about that because you see some new names on the screen in that tournament, and hopefully they do it the right way. Dakota Kai picks up a win on Monday. You know, she's been clamoring for an opportunity. Same thing with Zelina Vega. She's on the other side of the bracket. So hopefully she gets some shine in this tournament as well. But I'm excited that the mid-card titles are back are here. And those women are finally getting some TV time to show what they can do. Because there's a lot of good wrestlers on that side. They just need that time. They just need that
Man,
time.
can y'all imagine if Raquel wins the Intercontinental Women's belt and then she
die
would
slowly,
live
bro.
with the world?
Insufferable,
I know.
bro.
I don't want it to happen.
Hey, bro,
I'm Team Dakota and Team
yeah.
Zelina on the Intercontinental side. Believe that.
Talk about insufferable. Talk about insufferable.
I don't want Raquel to do anything else, bro. She's the worst protection ever,
Terrible.
bro. APA didn't even have a full wall, and they were more protection than this. This woman is not protecting anything. She is like, damn, like, come on, baby. Just get run over slowly or something. Like, damn, like you got locked up in War Games. You did nothing. Okay, I'm sorry. We on the final thought. I'm sorry. Let's get on out of here. I can get pissed about this and rant all night. I'm not gonna do that. Griff, let the people know where they can find you, man.
Griff Nation 84 on IG, Instagram, and CGriff84 on X, formerly known as Twitter.
Coach, over to you.
Coach Montay 24 on Instagram.
Oh my God.
Definitely.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Jackie Miles 42. Follow our wise man on Instagram at B_DIXX. Follow us all on Instagram and Twitter at Ebony Championship Wrestling and Ebony Championship Rest. We appreciate all the love and support. We hope that you like, share, and subscribe these videos out. Make sure you hit the bell so that you are notified every time that the boys hit your screen. We appreciate each and every one of y'all, and we'll see y'all next time. This is the Ebony Championship Wrestling Show. Signing off. But Coach, let them know.
We never tapping out.
Not once. We appreciate each and every one of y'all. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.